Welcome back, fellow jazz buns. Felipe here. Today, one more record review. Actually, it's one that's getting me very excited about, and I hope you really enjoy and check this record out. But first, don't forget to like and subscribe and follow us on Instagram and our Discord server. There's a lot of great discussions there, really cool and nice people. It's a great environment, and please watch us on YouTube as well. So this is a band that has been on my radar. Some of their musicians from the past couple of months, and then their first actually release as a group was finally coming out this June. I have the chance to chat with the label, and they gladly sent me a copy for review, which is music that I was really excited about, and the record does not disappoint. Let me show it. It's a record by this band called Beans. Actually, it's a super group, and the name of the record is There Is a Garden. It came out on No Quarter Records. So let's start by saying, who are the Beans, right? It was released last June, actually on June 7th. It's available as a record, as a CD, as a digital. And again, this is a super group where very talented, unique voices, these beings, they produce a very powerful, engaging, and somehow mysterious group effort. So who are they, right? So Beings is composed of Zoe Amba on saxophone, vocals, acoustic guitars, harmonium, piano. She's a very lauded saxophonist these days, still very young. There are inevitable comparisons to Albert Ayler on her style. She's also a composer, she plays flute, she's from Tennessee, and her style is more like blending some avant-garde, noise. She studied at San Francisco Conservatory, New England Conservatory, and she also studied with David Murray in New York. I think she brings very fresh ideas to the table, very dynamic approach, and I think you should check out her last two records. Released in 2022. She recorded Taishan Sore. It's, I think, an emergent force and a very unique voice in saxophone these days. I really recommend you guys checking Zoe Amba. Next, we have legendary guitar player Steve Gunn, which has like a very solid and known solo career. A really cool recorded harpist Mary Latimore, and he's a former member of the Violators, playing with Kurt Weill. Next, another legend, Shahad Ismail, playing bass and synth on this record. He's probably the go-to musician for every musician. He played with everybody from Laurie Anderson to Tom Waits. The guy is a genius, many instruments. He has a very unique concepts, tonalities. He's a very complete musician that complements very well any band. And lastly, we have also Jim White. He plays drums from with the Dirty Three, which is a band that comes from the late 80s. And he rarely records with different bands. He always very with the Dirty Three. And he decided to take the challenge and enjoy this band. All original music, and the very few lyrics were written by Zoe. It was recorded at Figure Eight Recording Studio, mastered by Josh Bonatti, mixed by Ben Greenberg, and it's a record that really, I think it really topped my expectations in a sense. Some tracks were already released earlier in the year, but I think this one really as a group, the final product came really better than expected in a sense. They play as a group since 2022 with a work that's been solidifying over the years, and they finally gather for this recording date. The group was recording minus White. Everybody was in the studio already rehearsing, bonding created. White joined the last studio. And according to the band in the release and some interviews, they said everything was very natural, a really cool flow of ideas, nobody taking each other's space. It was a very nice compliment. And according to Amba, nothing felt planned, nothing felt forced. They were just unraveling. The music was just unraveling itself. They were just playing and letting go, seeing what's going to happen. There was a lot of exploration, seeing what was possible, and that's the impression one has after you know checking this album. And myself, I mean, people know that who follow the channel that I really have into. I collect blue notes. I have a good number of original pressings, really old stuff, really cool historical pieces, a lot of audiophile too. But I also like exploring, being challenged, checking what's new, what's going on, searching for current artists, which is actually one of my biggest trends these days. And I took the challenge. I like what I knew from this band before, and when the record came out, they were kind enough to send me a copy, and I want to share with you my thoughts. So, firstly, what is this music about? How is this record? What's the idea, the thematics? What are they bringing to the table here? So, first on the music, I think it's somehow an open and honest effort is the album's like biggest strength. The four musicians they shine individually, but it's always to the benefit of the group. The overall thematics is like dreamy, circular. It's a canvas of synth, guitars, and drums and saxophone. They paint this always like changing landscape, accelerating, slowing down, being more intense, louder, quieter, a little bit of everything. It's like a garden, right? And I don't see this album as something that's traditional, that's bound to rules or aesthetics. It's all about four musicians allowing themselves to express in dialogue. The music never feels predictable. It comes in flows, sometimes it's chaotic, sometimes it's mellow. And they frequently mention in their interviews and in the press release, it's an amalgamation. They reach this amalgamation, which is amalgam is an alloy of mercury, right, with any other metal, except for a very few examples, which has like this irregular appearance. However, it's very uniform, coherent, consistent. They have a very strong bond between those different pieces of this alloy. Everything coexists harmonically, and I think that's great strength. There's not too much of anybody, but you can hear them all, and they state their sound, their uniqueness, but the music is a flow. It's really a flow of ideas and feelings. It's really is really interesting. So the first track is called Little Valves, an intense and very fiery saxophone intro, kind of like squeaking, and then just other instruments kind of join, becomes this group effort. It's intriguing, it's dark, it's hypnotic, introducing this unique and unifying sound. Next track is called Flower That Talks. That brings another facet. Like it's like a wall of very delicate sounds with a beautiful acoustic guitar by Zoe and a singing that even reminds me of bands like Stereolab or stuff like that. It's very delicate, very well put together. Next come one of the longest songs called God Dances in Your Eyes, which is perhaps one of the greatest examples of how they managed to blend the sounds and tempos, the actual live experience. It closes with beautiful textures of hints of like folkloric Eastern sounds. And as a live performance, he has like longer songs and small interludes. To me, they act as a breaks, such as preparation for what's coming next, or bonding, or disconnecting, and just introducing a new step. I think the way they put this together works very well. So, like in the next track, in the garden, it's like chaotic saxophone opening that just builds with distorted guitars and synth, and closes with a very heavy and lively and like almost like a martial drum beat. And side A closes with a song called Face of Silence, which is another like completely free improvisation that, although it's also intense and apparently chaotic, it feels very structured, solid, with terrific drumming by White. It's really very amazing drumming on this song. Then we go to side B. It opens with a song called Sun Greeted, always starting the sides with these lines with saxophone coming through a wall of synth, drum sounds. It's like screaming life in your face. It's like vibrant, it's pure energy. It's like as the sun greeted, you know. And side B is actually my favorite. I think there's two more long songs in the 6 minute range. First one is Happy to Be, where Zoe, she plays like a very catchy, poetic saxophone hook that goes through the entire song. Sometimes with changes in speed or the pitch, accelerates, is rolled back again, but that saxophone piece is always there, coming back, and it's amazing. It's very dreamy. It really takes you somewhere else. I think to me that's the song that I keep coming back. Happy to Be. I love the song. And then on Morning Sea, the next song, Zoe's back singing. It's a very swing melody to introduce the last track. Another favorite. It's called Please Do Come Again, which is a very like climatic, melancholic ending to me that makes you wish the album never ends. Gives this feeling of, you know, distance, some nostalgia. You start kind of relating back to what you heard in the whole album, and to me it was really a highlight. So the band actually earlier this year gave a very good interview to Stereogum that I highly recommend you guys checking it out. Uh, and they talk about how it's the album calls us like its own character. It kind of perfectly captured the room feeling at the time of the recording, and you know, it's all about exploration. And one of the lines when Zoe sings in Deep in My Heart, there's a garden with flowers and with a very low register, super cool and mellow, very, as I said again, like stereo labish to me, a little bossa nova in a sense, very, very cool. But the album goes like in wild directions. I think for the ones that are into experimental, free, a lot of jazz and synth, electronic, very well used and put there, acoustic, you know, a little bit of everything. This record is really surprising. It might take you to many different directions there. Really, really interesting. So now, for the record collectors out there, right, the ones that are curious about how is this package, how does this sound, how does it look like? Well, I would say No Quarter Records, based in Pennsylvania, really puts a nice effort here. Not in this one, but in many of the other releases. So it's a really nice, I don't know if you can see here, texture cover. All the lettering here is texture. All the information about the band and the recordings here in the back. Texture paper. The record was pressed at GZ. Flat, nice, clean, really well pressed. No complaints whatsoever. Sound quality, it's a very silent pressing, no background noise, nothing. It's really nice press. So what I can say is that sound quality wise, I compare this to a high-res stream using Tidal and Room on my system. I felt there's subtle differences between the vinyl record and the streaming. I haven't checked the CD yet, but the record feels more organic, more live, fuller sound. The digital is very good sounding too, but I felt it was a little brighter, harsher, and drier than the record. I think it's also depending on your system, your DAC especially, and your streamer, right, and your streaming service, of course. But you know, in summary, wrapping up, for the ones demanding with sound pressing package, No Quarter delivers here a great music project. And most important is music that feels fresh, creative, intriguing. Every listen is a different experience. A record that will surely be among the great releases of the year, at least in my pile here, alongside records like YY by Amado Freitas and Tony Kofi and Alina Besinska, released earlier this year as well. It's really, I think, innovating, doing something different, going out of the ordinary, but at the same time, it's not pretentious. It's just like the musicians having fun and just contributing to make beautiful music together. Um, Again, I'm very happy with the release itself, from package to music. I recommend you guys checking this out. We're going to put all the links in our video description. Please don't forget to follow us on Instagram, YouTube, and also on our Discord server. Thank you so much for watching. Hope to see you next. Thank you.